Some people don't cry when they're broke. They go silent, because poverty has already said everything for them. Stay with me. I was standing inside a small-town diner the day I learned how cruel poverty sounds when it's spoken out loud. Not screamed. Not argued. Just stated, like a rule no one was ever meant to challenge. The receipt lay on the table like a quiet accusation. 0 tip. No message. No explanation. Just an empty line, where hope usually lived. The woman holding that receipt was Elena Brooks, 28 years old, a single mother, and exhausted in a way sleep never fixes. The diner was busy, plates clinking, coffee pouring, voices overlapping, but Elena stood frozen for a moment, staring at that blank space like it had taken something from her. Because this wasn't just about money. It was about rent due in 9 days, a grocery list taped to her fridge at home, and a 4-year-old daughter who believed her mom could fix anything. Before we go deeper, let me say this. If real stories about sacrifice, kindness, and quiet strength matter to you, subscribe to Kind Soul Corner now. We tell the stories people live through, but rarely talk about. Elena worked double shifts at a roadside diner just outside Cedar Ridge, a town people passed through but rarely stayed in. Her morning started before sunrise, packing snacks, slipping crayons into a small backpack, and kissing her daughter goodbye before leaving her with a neighbor who charged less than daycare but more than Elena could really afford. By noon, Elena was already tired. By evening, she was running on willpower alone. That afternoon had been especially long. The lunch rush blurred into late afternoon when he walked in. He didn't announce himself, didn't demand attention, but something about his presence shifted the room. He wore a simple tailored coat, moved slowly, spoke politely, sparingly. Elena treated him like everyone else. She refilled his coffee before he asked, brought his meal exactly as ordered, checked in once more than usual, not because she expected a tip, but because something about his distant eyes felt heavy. He thanked her softly, ate in silence, and left without another word. When Elena returned to clear the table, she saw the receipt. Total paid. Tip, $0. Her chest tightened, not with anger, but with that familiar sinking feeling of disappointment she'd learned to swallow quietly. She reminded herself that kindness wasn't transactional. As she wiped the table, the plate caught on something beneath it. She lifted it again, slower this time. A folded piece of paper. Her name was written on it. Just Elena. Her hands trembled slightly as she unfolded it. Inside was a short note. It spoke of observation, of noticing how she kept a child's drawing tucked into her apron pocket, how she spoke gently to every customer, even the difficult ones, how she carried herself with dignity on a day that offered her none. The note ended with a single line that made her sit down. This is not a tip. It's an opportunity. Behind the note was a business card and a folded check. The number on it blurred her vision, not because it was extravagant, but because it was exactly what she needed. Enough to cover rent, child care, and enough space to breathe again. The card belonged to Nathan Cole, a name she didn't recognize then, but many people did. A billionaire. That night, Elena held her daughter longer than usual, listened to her talk about shapes she'd learned that day, and felt something unfamiliar bloom in her chest. Possibility. If you're still watching, don't scroll, because what happened next is why stories like this matter. The next morning, Elena sat in her car for 20 minutes before dialing the number on the card. No rush, no pressure, just someone who listened. Weeks passed, then months. Elena didn't quit her job right away. She learned Nathan Cole ran a foundation focused on overlooked talent in forgotten towns. He believed dignity came from work, not handouts. Through mentorship and training, Elena discovered something she never knew she had: leadership. The diner owner noticed too. Responsibilities grew. Confidence followed. With guidance and a modest grant, Elena helped modernize the diner, turning it into a community hub that hired other struggling parents. Years later, Elena stood in the same diner. Brighter now, louder, full of laughter. Her daughter sat at the counter doing homework. Safe. Confident. Nathan visited once a year. Same booth. Same routine. No tip. Just a note. And every time, Elena remembered the day an empty receipt almost broke her, and how something small changed everything. If this story moved you even a little, subscribe to Kind Soul Corner. Because stories like this don't go viral by accident. They spread because people choose to share them. Like this video. Comment one word that describes how it made you feel. And tell us where you're watching from. Because sometimes what looks like nothing changes everything.